Hi, Sulis. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across this video, and Black people were just coming for one another, and some people really got their point to pass across. They talked about identity politics and how Black people think that they have a lot to tell Black people, or they have a lot to say when it comes to politics, or when it comes to what Black people should do, how they are supposed to do it, how they are supposed to react when something happens to them, and the rest of it. And I keep asking this, why is it that everybody wants to tell Black people how they are supposed to react and how they are supposed to act when some certain things happen? Like, I really do not understand it. I mean, how do you beat somebody and at the same time you are telling the person how to cry and not how not to cry? I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's either you back off or you want to uphold and support them. If not, so why are you people all in Black people's business? I mean, it's really been a whole lot going on. And at the same time, sincerely speaking, some Black people are not helping matter, because sometimes when we look for a way to blame other people for the things they do in our community, let's also be truthful to tell ourselves that some of us are causing so much harm to ourselves and think it's okay. It is not okay. I mean, it's amazing how some people are very willing to sell their own community for some check. Why? Because, I mean, everybody's just after, what do they call that? Stomach infrastructure, which doesn't make a lot of sense. In the end, you all will understand that there is nothing like coming together as one, especially for Black people. Let's get into this video.
This is for Black people, Black liberals, Black leftists, Black progressives, Black radicals, just Black. Okay, I just want to pose a question. Y'all really think that it's okay for white people, white leftists, to call out Black people on identity politics? And an identity they don't have? Do you really think it's okay for white leftists to talk about all skin folk ain't kinfolk when they not even the skin folk? They not even the skin folk. When their skin folk are the reason. Their skin folk are the reason, but because they have the right theory and idea, they have ideas that we agree with, you agree with, they can start talking to skin folk like they kinfolk when they not even skin folk. I want to bring, is it possible that some of us allow what white people who are leftist, progressive, and radical and reading the right books, we allow them to do these things because maybe we believe in a white savior complex a little bit too much, and that's white supremacy and anti-blackness coming up internalized inside of us? Is it internalized anti-blackness that we can't check our own people? Even if our people need to be checked, maybe they are doing a little identity politics, maybe they aren't being kinfolk right now, but we can't trust that we can do that. Like we haven't already been doing that. Like the white leftists didn't get that from the Black scholars who were already doing that. And then when they get called out for that, right, and we say, hey, that's a little anti-Black, maybe you shouldn't be talking to Black people like that, you want to defend instead of letting them get their lashings. What does that sound like? Y'all really think that it's okay for white people, white leftists, to call out Black people on identity politics?
Remember earlier in the year when I said that Black people are beginning to hide behind their marginalized identity to justify the ways in which they uphold oppression the same way that Israeli Zionists hide behind their Jewish identity to uphold the ways that they oppress Palestinians? Yeah, this is that. Y'all really starting to sound like Zionists talking about, oh, do you think non-Jewish people can tell us the way that we are hiding behind our identity? Yes. In regards to my last video posted, the Department of Defense just codified their right to use violence against protesters. And who's currently the Secretary of Defense? A Black man, Lloyd Austin. A Black man just pushed for the government's ability to violently suppress our ability to advocate for our rights. And yes, that includes Black people's rights. If a white person said, hey, that shit is fucking terrible, that does not mean that they are anti-Black. And if you claim that that makes them anti-Black and they checked you on that shit, that doesn't make them wrong. A lot of this discourse is showing me that a lot of Black people are not looking for collective liberation. We are looking for representation within the colonial project. And I promise to God, that shit will not save you. Here's a hot take, but I honestly believe that Greta Thunberg's voice should be more validated than Candace Owens' voice, Barack Obama's voice, Clarence Thomas's voice, Uncle Ruckus's voice, Lloyd Austin's voice. Just because someone is Black does not mean they give a fuck about Black people. Insert Diddy.
really think that it's okay for white people, white leftists, to call out black people on identity politics?
This is anti-intellectual identity reductionism, but more importantly, this is liberalism. What do y'all want the 0.0000001% of white people who have actually done the reading you black liberals posture about to do? Because for me, knowing better is doing better. And the entire point of identifying something as identity politics is to go, hey, you have reduced these people's issues down to their identity so much, we are no longer talking about systemic solutions to the systemic issues at hand. Saying that we're waiting for a white savior because we want white people to finally do the work is so disingenuous.
First of all, fam, I would like to preface this by saying thank you for de-escalating the energy so that we could actually have a dialogue and an exchange of ideas, as opposed to the TikTok slugfest that so many of these fucking spectators want to have. Because I was not interested, especially not with my mutuals. Like, I'm not interested in that bullshit. Okay, I am tired. Okay, I just got called a black bitch by a random white man at 6 o'clock this morning. If I was not gonna give that nigga my morning, I was not gonna give y'all niggas my afternoon. I just wasn't gonna do it. So thank you, because now I actually want to engage. As you have framed it here, I absolutely agree with you. Okay, like, yes, people of privilege do not have the space to tell people who are suffering underneath that privilege whether or not that suffering exists. I agree. We are in accordance, right? But to be honest and transparent, that is not the framing that I took from your question. So my response to you is not in regards to that, right? Like when I say that black radical thought is not heard unless it comes out of a white mouth, that's not in regards to who can check who can call in who, or any of that. That's not in regards to that, right? And fam, to keep it a stack, I took it to heart when you said that it feels like I'm just focusing on one thing and it feels like you're being gaslit. Because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm really just trying to be 100% honest with you so that you know who you are parasocially in community with on fucking TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you an example of context that was provided to me, and I want to give you my genuine reaction to it, or my genuine opinion on it. And I'm not going to say anybody's names, because to me, it's not about the people, it's about the behavior. And also, I've said both of them motherfuckers' names enough. We not even fucking. I should not be saying either of your names this fucking much. Okay? Just keeping it honest, okay? At some point in the conversation, it was said, I don't give a fuck about Democrats. Fuck them. They're evil. Right? Paraphrasing, of course. And the response to that was, well, most black women vote Democrat. So are they evil too? Now, fam, if y'all were to have asked me that question, I would have dead ass said, probably. Fucking probably. You know what I'm saying? I understand that most black people in general are voting for this fucking party out of duress. But I also accept the reality that a lot of these motherfuckers are voting for this party because they are fucking evil. I understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been fuck black Democrats since 2007 for me. I don't fuck with them. I have the same level of ire and disdain towards black Democrats as I do black Republicans. To me, the only difference between these two groups is that the black Republicans are smart enough to know how to get more money out of these white people. That is it. So again, I cannot, in good conscience, come out here and talk down points that I would have made or said even more extremely. I just can't. I want this conversation to happen because I feel like we need to know who we're in community with. I don't fuck with black Democrats. And I know a lot of my mutuals are going to be voting for them motherfuckers. And it breaks my fucking heart. It breaks my heart. But I am in community with you because I value you more than that vote. Are mutuals because I value you beyond what you're doing with that fuck ass party. It feels a lot like y'all are just in an abusive relationship and I just need to fall back and let y'all handle it. You will leave when you're ready. That's where I stand at this point. I can't make you. You know what I'm saying? And I won't make you. What I will do is just exist around you, appreciate what you bring to my life, and hopefully give you something of value that you can take. Because I also know that eventually a lot of our connections are going to end. I know that. We are not going to be mutuals forever. I don't know about like me and you or whatever, but like in general, there's a good chance that I'm not even going to be mutuals for long with the black radicals who followed me this week. To keep it a stack. But I at least want y'all to know, like, hey, this is where I stand. And it's not going to change. And I'm definitely not changing that tune because some white bitch said something like that. And as long as we are in agreement to that, and as long as we understand where we are and we're not trying to be malicious towards each other, then it's fucking Gucci. That's how I see things. That's my opinion on this whole entire situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. You know what I'm saying? I have my own bias and agenda while I'm on this app, much like you guys do. I don't try to stand in the way of y'all shit. I hope you don't try to stand in the way of my shit. That's it. That's all I can ask of you. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can ask of you. Because at the end of the day, I just got called a black bitch at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why the fuck am I doing this with y'all?
White leftists to call out black people on identity politics.
This is anti-intellectual identity reductionism, but more importantly, this is liberalism. What do y'all want the 0.0000001% of white people who have actually done the reading you black liberals posture about to do? Because for me, knowing better is doing better. Saying that we're waiting for a white savior because we want white people to finally do the work is so disingenuous.
First of all, who are you talking to like that? Who are you talking to with that abrasion? Y'all talk on here like you can't run up in people and you can't talk face to face, and it gives you a little more gumption. So I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need us to bring it down because I didn't come like that. You're not gonna come like that at me. First of all, I want white people in general, which includes white leftists. The leftists don't make them not white, to know when to stay the fuck in their lane. Know what the lane is and know when to stay in it, which should be in the readings that we're all doing, right? Right? Because it's not just about whiteness. When I'm talking about identity politics and skin folk not being kinfolk being called out, I'm talking about people being outside of a group, trying to call people out in a group where they don't even experience that oppression. And I find that fucking bonkers. I didn't say it's not something to be called out, right? And if you actually fucking knew me, you would know that I have talked about it, even though your little snarky little caption said that OP doesn't even address it herself. Shocker! I have. The larger issue I'm talking about is white people having the audacity to tell black people what they're seeing isn't racism, or how someone said something wasn't racist, or how someone addressed them wasn't racist. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. And if you strictly believe that white people, white leftists specifically, because they read a couple books, can tell black people what you're seeing, there's no racism at all in this context. No, not at all. We are vehemently going to disagree. From the bachelors and the masters and the research and the readings and the organizing and the protesting, I've also learned that I need to shut the fuck up sometimes too. It don't matter how much I fucking know. If a dark-skinned black man got on here talking about something and maybe needed to be corrected on whatever the issue was, and in the correction someone was being colorist and she clocked it, I would never fix my Fenty medium ass to tell her, you're not dealing with colorism. If a trans woman was like, hey, yo, I'm kind of experiencing a little transphobia, or the way that you're going about this is a little transphobic, I would never fix my cisgender ass to say, no, girl, that's not what's happening. The girl is all over talking about texturism in the black community. All right, my job is not to tell the type 4, 4C girlies about texturism. My job is to make sure the 3B brigade back here with me shuts the hell up and make sure they ain't perpetuating texturism in the natural hair community. My positionality has to be included in my praxis. It has to be included in my call out. It has to be included in my call in. And this has been something that I have had to actually learn. It's been some growth. It's been some shit I've seen people do on here. Y'all be thinking that just because you might know something, you are the person to deliver that fucking message. And maybe y'all ain't got popped in the mouth or called out enough. I don't know. But sometimes you are not the person to deliver that message. So if a black person is wrong, if a black person is identifying with identity politics too much to where they're not worried about any other issues, that is wrong. We have said this. And if them and other black people clock that a white person correcting them has a little bit too much dip on their chip and there's a little bit of anti-blackness and gaslighting coming through, we have a right to clock that. So before white leftists fixes their lips to tell a black person they're not experiencing racism or microaggressions or macroaggressions, or you care too much about black issues over this, they need to make sure that their brethren ain't racist, that their brethren ain't perpetuating macroaggressions, that their brethren is worried about black issues. It's giving paternalism. It's giving manifest destiny. It's giving white savior. It is. That is a pillar of white supremacy. It ain't just white leftists do. White people, white conservatives do that. Why wouldn't it trickle down if that is an aspect of whiteness and white supremacy? Why wouldn't it trickle down to other spaces? Come on, y'all.
I like the white leftist is like the very first voice that I'm going to attach to. By the time I get to the white leftist that is agreeing with me, I already got like 30 other black people where I'm just like, okay, cool. We on the right track.
So to address Haven's video, you know, I can fix my tone now because like there was respect. There's respect here. I hear the points about by the time we get to the white person who's saying these things, there's already 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 black people already saying the same thing. And I agree. Which is why I said in another video, I want to hear it from those black people because I know behind a white leftist, there's 50 black people saying the same exact thing. Let these people, let me, let her, let them hear it from them. Because to me, the likelihood of anti-blackness spewing out from them is way lower than the white leftist who has lived their whole life as a white person and being indoctrinated with white privilege and just having spots that they are not going to be able to see when that white privilege is fully on the surface. How are you going to tell somebody that their skin folk ain't being kinfolk when you're not even the skin folk? You don't even know you can't look at politics and social issues through our lens because you don't have the lens. You ain't got the glasses. Your eyesight damn near perfect. And to the point where people sometimes don't listen until a white face says it. So you agree. There is a doubt that black people can successfully call in each other about these issues and that we may need to hear it from a white person. I don't believe that. White people ain't never liberated black people. White people have never liberated black. How is the group that has oppressed us, right, built the system to oppress us, be the ones to liberate us? Now, I ain't saying black people aren't difficult. You've known the shit I've dealt with on this app from a different intersection within the black community. I ain't saying black people aren't difficult. I'm not saying we can't leave some folks behind. I ain't saying that all skin folk are kinfolk because they not. I'm saying that certain call-ins should be for us, reserved for us. And one of those to me is the discussion on whether or not a black person was experiencing racism. I think a white person needs to stay in their fucking lane because how would you know? Which is why I'm having the conversation with black folks. Right? This has opened up the door for a lot of non-black people to be talking crazy in the comments. And I'm letting you know I'm not addressing any of you. I'm not, because this is a B&B conversation. Black and black. These are all things I've had to look in with myself, like the examples I gave earlier, and that I've been checked on. And in my questions of Christina, am I so concerned with being right, being knowledgeable, knowing this theory, knowing the facts, versus being able to connect with people and understand them and get them to see what I'm talking about? Or get them to actually agree? Do I always have to be the messenger? Why? What part of my ego is telling me? What part of some of my privileges are telling me I always have to be the messenger? Maybe that's a question that a lot of people need to fucking ask themselves. Maybe I don't need to talk. Maybe I need to shut the fuck up every once in a while. Okay? And a part of me thinks it's the fact that people talk behind a screen. Again, we're not getting popped in the mouth or clocked enough. It's not happening. The screen is emboldening a lot of y'all like, oh boy, in the beginning. Be real emboldened. That's why he will be blocked after this. But yeah, I will not ever in the near future believe that white leftists have a right to tell black folks what they're experiencing is or isn't racism in the midst of them being called out for stuff, because they can't call them in. And if you believe that, we are simply agreeing to disagree, and it is what it is.
I'm going to tag the creator because I couldn't stitch it and it's taking too long to download and I only have so much patience in the world. But the creator is Miss Tina and she just made a video and you should go watch it. I'm going to tag her, and then the video is about how white people will address certain issues that black people are facing through a white lens. And they like want to get their point across, but it's built in whiteness. So a lot of the time, sometimes it comes off very anti-black, or it comes off as you're speaking over black people. She made a whole video about it. Just go watch her video because she talks a lot better than I do. But I just wanted to come on and say, I've personally experienced this and it is actually crazy. It's actually crazy. because I'll sit in this skin. I'll sit in this, I'm black every single day. Every single day I get up, I'm black. Every single moment in the world, I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. Like, there's no getting around it. But when I had someone literally try to tell me exactly what my oppression is and exactly how I should be behaving around people who don't look like me, who would look at me and only see a black person, I couldn't wrap my head around that. And they couldn't wrap their head around the fact that they felt like they were right in telling me how I should act and how I should feel about being black in this country. And I cut them off because I couldn't even know. But it is actually crazy to me that people genuinely feel that talking over black people and telling them exactly why things are not racist or why things are not as serious or why do you consider that activism? Do you consider that activism? Because a big part of activism is listening and learning. And if the people that you are attempting to protect, the people that you are attempting to use your white privilege for, if they are telling you that something is not right with what you said, and you need to take some time to deliberate, maybe read a few books, listen to that. Listen to that. I am not the only black person or POC person I know. I have other POC friends and I get advice from them all the time. I talk to them. I ask them, what would you do in this community? Like, how is your community affected by? I ask them things and I sit and I listen because that's not my particular battle. So why do some people, specifically white people, why do you feel like it is okay and necessary for you to tell black people how they should feel and how they should act for their activism or how they should go about the racism that they deal with every day? Like, we're not sitting here thinking that you know exactly what we go through, because we know you don't. However, if I'm telling you exactly what I go through and you're telling me that it is not true or that it is wrong, I need you to shut the fuck up, because you're not ready to have this conversation. You're not ready to be the activist that you want to be. And a lot of people are not okay with hearing that. And, you know, that person wasn't, and that's why they are not in my life, because at this point, I'm sorry, but there are plenty of other people that will debate with you. There are plenty of other people that will sit here and take you through all the steps of our oppression. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Because at the end of the day, if I had to do my own research on my own community and all the history that we have been through, why can't you? Especially since you say that you care about me and my people. You do some of that work and try to do it silently. Try to do it silently until you have fully grasped the concept, because you're just going to get ate up every time. You're just going to get ate up every time. And it's honestly going to be a detriment to the activism that you are trying to do. The activism that you are trying to take place in, there is no activism if you're not listening.
I just saw a video with a creator that I follow. It was stitched from a guy, I think, stitching her, black man, dark skin. As a dark skinned black man, I'm gonna say this: she is right. I'm gonna tag her. She is right. The problem with people is y'all be tripping. She is right. Her stance is right. Factual. I'm here to say is y'all problem is this: y'all don't know what inside the house and outside the house is. Outside, you gotta back me. Inside, it should y'all be like, hey, yo, you're tripping. But outside, we stand together. Inside, the truth is the truth. That's what y'all problem is. So I'm standing with her. Y'all tripping. And if you got the nerve to put your face up against somebody, really think about it. Back they stance, because it's us against everyone else. Let's keep it real. So back them. And if it's really something you tripping about, take it to the side. Let them know. Hi, baby. My baby. Hi. Yeah, y'all tripping. She right. My baby.
So this is all I got from this video, and it's really amazing how people or black people are going to talk about what they are going through, the oppression and the systemic or racism, and some people will tell you, I'm like, stand firm. and tell you that there is nothing happening, like, you all are overreacting, and you are not supposed to react like this, because why would you be reacting like this? It's just like a video that I saw yesterday. I brought here yesterday about the young black man, young teen that some people followed, right? And a black man stitched that video. I mean, it's a black man that stitched the video. I mean, he's a conservative, right? And guess what he was saying on the video? He said that he is going to run what those men that followed him, like wire them some checks, right? Why? Because they did great by protecting, like they are doing great for protecting their own community from being, like, harassed, or, taken over by hoodlums or some black people. A black man said this, not even a white man, right? And that really got me. There are some things. There are some things you hear from your own kinfolk, people you think they are your kinfolks, right? And you are absolutely in shock to the bone marrow, and you don't know how to process it. Sincerely speaking, I couldn't process it because I wasn't sure what to tell him, what to say, and how some people, like, there is something that I stand for. I don't care whoever that is. And I absolutely will tell you that this is not right, no matter how close we are. And when I say something that is not okay, I do not look for a way to support it or look for a way to twist it. But it's okay to be diplomatic, but there are some things you already do not need to be diplomatic with, right? You say it the way it is, because if you do not say it, people are going to get hurt. And not just one or two, a lot of people will get hurt. So I love it when people speak the truth, especially when they feel like, man, this is just a matter of truth and lie and all that. Please speak the truth, because that truth you are speaking will save somebody's life. The reality is that black people do not have any privilege, and they do not, there is nothing like freedom. They do not enjoy a lot. They do not have a lot that they enjoy when it comes to human rights and all of that. I mean, it's a struggle. It's something that they fight so hard to, to fit in. Why? Because a system has already been made that is not meant for them. So what have they? They've been trying so hard to fit into that system, to break into the system that has been oppressing them, right? And if you look around, you definitely will find out so far that there is nothing that they are so much worried about, rather than breaking that system and making it favorable for them. Nothing much. Now the election is here, and it's been a lot of people going back and forth. The truth is that I understand this is really a very critical time, or it's critical and at the same time crucial, time for black people. Why? Because they are at the verge of, are we going to be sane, or we are going to be insane? And they are looking for a way to make life easier for them. I understand that both parties are really crazy. I can say that again and again and again. Political parties are something people do not. That's why most times I do not join. When you are in a party, do not join a party because it's a do or die affair. Be sensible enough to know when something is good and when something is not right. If you are able to, if you are able to understand this when it comes to politics, trust me, you definitely will be in your right senses to carry out activities and know when you are supposed to stay and when you are not supposed to stay. I don't know if that makes sense, right? As it stands, both of them are not even like the very best. And the third party is not somebody you have never heard that a third party won or anything in the United States. So definitely, no matter what it is, somebody's absolutely going to win. No matter how bad it is, there must be someone that at least can give you water to drink. So I think this is just where we are at this point in time. And it takes a smart person to understand that sometimes it is not about party at this point in time. We just have to do what is right or what we feel will be okay for us as a particular point in time. Now back to the main thing. I think this election has really cost so many things. I mean, from left, right, everybody's pointing accusing fingers at Black people. Nobody wants to hear from them. Nobody wants them to speak. Or you are speaking, they say that you are being racist. Another one that I heard is that you cannot criticize Black people or you cannot criticize Kamala without Black people like it. I mean, there are so many stories going around just because of this election. And they were all okay when Biden was running and hadn't said anything about Kamala Harris. I mean, it was all good and fine, not until Kamala Harris surfaced. Then everybody became really very aggressive. Palestinians knew that was at that point that Palestinians knew that Black people are not worth working with, right? So, man, it is people beating you up and at the same time telling you not to cry. That is what I call it. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.